Okay, so I thought I'd use this as an opportunity to demo exactly what I mean by when you're doing groundwork, you're adding tension. Every time you add tension, you want to take it away and create that neutral space. By bringing a horse up and down, we actually allow them to explore emotional self-regulation, to find neutral, and to expand their comfort zone. So every time they become closer to threshold and come back down, they become more comfortable closer to threshold, so their threshold therefore gets bigger. They realize they can engage with things rather than get intense. Using this horse as an example, because he's a little bit fresh today, he's doing things a little bit suddenly and a little bit with a bit more tension than he usually would, so I thought it'd be a good example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him simply for a bit of a turn on the forehand, yield through that rib cage. As you can see, he's swishing his tail, he's moving quite fast. And then I'm going to bring him back down to neutral. And I'm going to click and I'm going to reward. And so rather than trying to lunge the energy out of him, what I want him to do is engage with the pressure, look for the release, and then find relaxation by removing the tension from his body and his mind by constantly bringing him back down to neutral. And so it doesn't matter what I ask him, whether it be yielding that rib cage or moving them shoulders. Every time I'm going to bring him back down to neutral. And you can see he's just being very over eager. He's guessing. And so rather than try and burn the energy off him, what I want is more engagement. More engagement equals more relaxation. It also means that when he gets tense, he learns not to react to his tension, but to listen to the communication instead. So hopefully what will happen, and what should become very evident, is that every time I ask him something and bring him back to neutral, becomes a little bit more engaged with me, stops guessing so much, starts listening a bit more, and all his movements become a little bit slower and a little bit more relaxed, a little less reactive and a little bit more responsive. And so I'm helping him to use the language of pressure and release to relax rather than perform. No, back up. Thank you. And so with a more tense horse, or a more nervous or a more sensitive horse, is finding this neutral getting those sighs and then blows and those licks and chews becomes more important. And if what we do is, if after every movement we do, especially in our groundwork, we bring them back to neutral, is that rather than pressure add to anxiety, pressure then gets them to look for a neutral. And therefore all of our releases, they've then become neutrals, little mini neutrals within the work, where they get to relax, be very cute, and reset themselves in their parasympathetic nervous system.